I think it speaks volumes to how popular country music is right now too, which is great. I mean, it's more and more in the mainstream as time goes on, and it's really become the popular music that we all grew up on.
Well, let's talk about that, Jay, for a minute. Country music is having a revival, if you will, or renewal, or widening its audience. But what about the argument, and you must hear it all the time? Well, one, country music is not what it once was. It's not what it used to be. And two, you are not country music. So let's discuss that. What do you think?
I think one of the great things about country music as a genre is we've allowed ourselves to be open-minded and allow people to come in and make music that may not be traditional country music, in the sense that you hear somebody like a George Strait or, you know, George Jones or Merle Haggard. But we're very, very tolerant of people expressing themselves through the art of music. And we're one of the only genres where you can, you know, meld rap music together and loops and hip-hop beats and put a steel guitar on it, and it falls in line with country music. And I think it's fantastic, because we still have our traditional artists, but we still have people that very much push the edge of what country music is and what people consider to be country.
And that would be you.
I think that we were part of that movement. We've been criticized as not being country, but I believe country is a state of mind and not exactly what you put in your tracks musically. You know, we all grew up as country boys and on country music, and we sat around Friday and Saturday nights picking bluegrass and gospel and country music, and it's in our hearts. It's not about the way we look or whether or not we have enough fiddle in a song. It's our state of mind, and we've always been 100% country music.
You know, Gary, you know what I do. I'm not name dropping with you here, but I recently talked to Charlie Pride, who he likes your music. I don't speak for him, but he said, in effect, Dan, country music is not, and it's not going to be again what it once was. Now, he thought that country music, as we once knew it, stopped when Randy Travis got popular, when late 70s, early 80s, all in there. But as the lead singer, do you feel connected to the George Joneses, to the Johnny Cashes of the world?
I do, and I mean, that was some of my first introduction to country music. You know, was sitting there with my grandmother watching the Grand Ole Opry and watching Johnny, and what was funny was even Merle Haggard back in the day, they thought that he was too rock and roll for country. Too slick for country music.
That's true.
Who'd ever said that about Merle Haggard? You know, there's nobody.
They wouldn't let him play the Grand Ole Opry because he took horns on there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So it just, you know, it's an always forever evolving genre. You know, music grows and you grow as artists, and as time goes by, you, as a songwriter and a singer, you take the Merle Haggards and the George Jones and the Earl Thomas Conleys and the Keith Whitleys, and you take what was so impactful to you and the stories that they told through song, and you may tell the same story, but you have to tell it a different way. There will never be another Charlie Pride, another Merle Haggard, another George Jones, another George Strait. I mean, those are, you know, you have to bring something different to the table, and that's the trick to being a songwriter, is taking those classic, iconic heroes, those legends that you grew up with, and being able to say what they said in just a little bit of a different way and in your own way.
But Joe Don, I'm looking at the words of some of the songs, and listen, I grew up in Texas in a time and place where if Ernest Tubb didn't sing it, I didn't know it. But let's take two songs, for example. I'm Moving On and What Hurts the Most. If you read the lyrics to the song, I think by any reasonable analysis, George Jones would sing it, Merle Haggard would sing it. Now, my question to you as the lead guitarist is, what do you do with the song that makes it different from what a George Jones or a Willie Nelson or a Johnny Cash would do with the same song?
Well, I think first off, you know, Gary's voice is obviously the driving force in Rascal Flatts, and for me, I've always been awed by Gary's voice. You know, moving to town back in 1999, getting to meet him, he was one of the first singers I heard in Nashville, and I was like, holy crap, so this is the level of singers in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I think we just take a song we love. When Gary sings it, I've always called him an interpreter. He can sing lyrics to a song and make you feel what those lyrics are saying. And that's something this guy, God just blessed this boy and he put him on this earth to be a singer and gave him that gift. And I think when we sing I'm Moving On, first off being the first song, we lived that song before we heard it. I mean, they're from Columbus, Ohio. I'm from a small town called Pitcher, Oklahoma. You've probably never heard of that. A lot of people haven't. It's a dot on the map. And we had to move from our comfort zones, our nests, and those hometowns for this crazy pipe dream, our friends called it, and in some of our family, it's just a pipe dream. But we believed it. And so when we got to Nashville, met each other, I was able to hook up these two cousins. And one of the first songs we got pitched as Rascal Flatts was I'm Moving On, written by D. Vincent Williams and Philip White, a couple of wonderful writers in Nashville, Tennessee. And that song changed our lives. And when Gary put his vocal on it, it was like, holy.
I question, what are you touching in the culture that despite the criticism, they aren't country enough, or they're too suburban, or they're too pop, or whatever? What are you touching in the culture of our country that not only has made you successful, but kept you successful for an extended length of time?
We've worked really, really hard on writing and recording songs that not only we've lived or something that means something to us, but the culture of our country. We cut and record and write songs that are real and truthful. From start to finish, our lyric and our songs have been so universal that it doesn't matter if you're a country fan or a pop fan or a rock fan. Most people that listen to country music listen to it for the stories and the song. And I think that we've been able to tell a lot of people's stories in our country and around the world.
Sometime in the 1950s, no later than the early 60s, somebody, I can't remember who it was, said, if you want to know what's going on in the country, if you really want to know what's going on in America, listen to country music. Mm-hmm. As I hear you talk, is that what you have in your head? You're saying, listen, we tell the stories of America and Americans.
Exactly. We talk about love and life and loss and war, and we talk about redemption, and we talk about forgiveness, and we talk about being better, and we talk about moving forward and not living in the past, but moving on to the future. And it's okay to make mistakes, and it's never too late to change as a family unit or as a parent or as a person. So I think that is a very fair, very true statement. That
it resonates. It really does. We had a girl come through the line that had followed us for all the 15 years of our entire career, and she said something that I will never forget. She said, you guys have literally been the soundtrack to my life. I graduated to My Wish. I'm going to get married to Broken Road. I sing screaming down the highway, driving on family vacations to Life is a Highway. She said, you've literally been the soundtrack to my life. It's just, that's the most humbling, gratifying thing you can hope for as an artist.
Well, add to the list of the things you said you sing about. You also sing about betrayal, hurt, reaching the bottom, trying to come back up. So when someone in a criticism said what you sing about is mostly God and lost love, that's way too limiting.
Sure, yeah. And we've never written or recorded a song for a critic ever. So the stories that, like that lady had told Jay, is the reason. They are, our fans are the only reason that we cut and make music. If a critic really wanted to say that and limit what they think our music is about, they should listen to all 8 albums. They should listen to the songs on those tracks and really, see if we haven't told some piece of their story.